Welcome back. So this week we're going to talk about the song Pallet on Your Floor from Mississippi John Hurt. We're going to make sure that you understand the chords first. I'm going to walk through the chords and the boom chuck pattern. I'm going to play the melody for you this time, guys, so that you know how it sounds. And make sure to watch the whole video because I'm going to give you a bunch of tips on how to practice it and some things that you can simplify and make easier. At the end of the video, we're also going to do a slow playthrough with the metronome so that you guys can play along. So let's jump right in and start with the lesson part. Like some of my other lessons, I like to break these songs down to their two different parts. So it's a boom chuck song, which means that you're playing bass, alternating bass patterns with the chord. So it goes like boom chuck, boom chuck, boom chuck, boom chuck. That's what boom chuck means, and that's what we're going to go over now. So let's go through the whole song with just the boom chuck. Remember, we're not playing the melody here. 1, 2, C, F. Back to C, alternate. F. Back to C. Now E this time. Back to F. C. Going to G. Back to C. Okay, and then you start over there on F, okay? Now notice the pickup measure is on C, but when you repeat, you start right on that F. That's where the song actually starts. So that's just the boom chuck part, okay? So what we've got to add with that is all the melody and all the ornaments and stuff. So he does these kind of like cool fluttery ornaments. So the ornaments, they sound like this. If you can see in measure 6, we have that first ornament. It sounds like this. Okay, so that's just that little fluttery part that goes, okay, back and forth. Now, John Hurt uses these 2 fingers to do that type of stuff. However, I recommend to, try to get good at using 3 fingers. In the long run, I think that's going to help out a lot. But if you can't use your 3rd finger for now, it's okay to use just 2 fingers because that's how John Hurt does it. Let's check out the melody by itself, okay? I'm just going to try to play it really slow with a metronome here. Now, John Hurt plays this at about 200. Okay, this is clicking at 194 right now. We're going to slow this down to like 110. Okay, this is just the melody only this time. Okay, so you'll see the melody only on your screen with the boom chuck part grayed out. 1, 2. So that's just the melody by itself with the metronome clicking at 110, okay? Now, it's a good thing to practice that and to break those apart when you're practicing. It's not something that you have to do, but if you're really struggling putting those parts together, I know it sounds like an extra step, but it's something that really, really helps a lot of people, including me. That's something that I do pretty much for every song I learn. I separate those parts out and I play them one at a time. Even though that's an extra step, it does seem to help putting the parts together that way. Okay, so that's what the melody sounds like by itself. Now let's kind of go through some tips on here, some tips on how to play the whole thing, on getting those ornaments and like what parts that I think that you can leave off. So let's just kind of start at the top. So the first measure I have just blank like that, and then the second measure we have 2 rests. So it's rest, rest, then a C7 chord. Okay, and that's just the first 2 notes, and we immediately go to this F. Now, just like a lot of these other arrangements that we're doing, this F chord really needs to be thumb over the neck. Now, I mean, there's ways around this if you absolutely cannot do thumb over the neck, but it's going to make your life a lot easier if you get better at this thumb over the neck. It's a really great grip for fingerstyle guitar because it gives you access to an extra finger. Otherwise, you have to do these bar chords and then you have to alter the bar chords, and it's a mess having to do it that way. You can do it that way, it's possible, but I strongly recommend thumb over the neck. Okay, so starting back at the top, C7, okay, then we go to F. Okay, that's the first two measures. So we're just like together. It's literally the same thing twice in a row. Okay, so F chord, so measures 3 and 4, we just have that. Slower. Okay, then we're switching to a C. Now notice the way that we're switching from this F to a C, we literally just taking these two fingers and moving them over one, and your first finger is already set up. Okay, that's another reason why we're doing this thumb over the neck. Okay, so after the F, again, going to C. Okay, that's that with that ornament in there. Okay, so if you want to drop that ornament off, that's perfectly okay. Those ornaments that's a very Mississippi John Hurt type thing to do. That's one of his trademark things that he does often. He does another thing that we call the jump. I call it jump part. It's a blues, or it's a bass line type thing. And he puts that at the end. And those are other parts that you can drop off. But here, I'll show you how you can play this without that fluttery ornament. So one more time with it. Backing it up. Slowing it down. So that measure 6 is pretty tough. Okay. A couple things that you can do to make this easier. One is to eliminate the alternating bass. So just that would just be like this, eliminating that note right there. It'd sound like this. One more time. Notice my thumb is going here, okay, and not alternating like written. This is the right way. Well, that's not the right way, that's the full way, okay? And this is the simplified way. Okay? So you can always kind of take out those alternating bass moves. If you listen to John Hurt play, he does that all the time. Every single verse that he plays is different in some way. So without the fluttery part, if you wanted to do that, that would sound like this. Okay. So there, I just kind of eliminated that, and then just played. Just kind of hit 2 G's there at the top. All right, so hopefully you kind of understand how you can simplify things down. Don't let that one measure get you messed up, okay? Let's move on. So measure 7, it goes back. The next measure 7 and 8 are the same as measures 3 and 4 from the very top of the song. So it sounds like this. Again. Okay, now that measure is exactly the same too. But this time, instead of going, the measure 10 goes. So one more time, slower. Sometimes it helps to kind of sing that. Okay, so measure 9 and 10 together. Okay, use some of those other strategies that we use from measure 6, that other flutter part that he does, okay, to eliminate what you need to make it through, okay? It's okay to drop some notes off here and there. It's more important to make your way through the song than it is to get every single note perfect, okay? Moving on, after that, we go to an E chord, okay? And this, he kind of does a little flutter here. This measure sounds like this. Okay, I'll play measure 11 and 12 slowly. Okay, now this is a tricky measure. It sounds really tricky, but it's not too bad. Okay, so let's get measure 11 out of the way. Okay, again here, if you need to simplify that down, don't alternate the bass. Just do E string, D string, E string, D string twice. Like that. Okay, now measure 12, I'm gonna play it from 11. Actually, let's play measure 12 by itself. Okay. Very slowly, one more time. Okay. Okay, so basically what we're doing here is we're plucking that G string right after you hit the E note. Okay, and we're trying to hit that hammer on O1 at the same time as our thumb comes down on the D string. Okay, so let's play 11 and 12 slowly together one more time. E. Okay, that goes to an F. Okay, so measure 13 and 14 are pretty simple. Almost the same. Okay, so just follow the tab on that. That one's not too bad. Okay, then we're going to go to 15 and 16, almost the end of the song. Back to a C chord. I'm going to play measures 15, 16, 17, 18 through the rest of the song, and then we'll talk about it. So that sounds like this. And then it will repeat. Okay, let's talk about those parts. So first we have this C chord, and it sounds like this. C. Okay, then we go to a G. One more time. C. Okay, then we go to a G. Now when we go to G, this is kind of one of those, we're approaching one of those jump phrases, so we're starting to use more of the syncopation with the index finger here. Sounding like this. One more time. That was 16, 17, and 18. So let's check that out. So we have G. That's that measure 16 by itself. Now, once you get to measure 17, it does that jump part again. We've seen this in some of his other songs before, but basically what we do here is instead of doing the standard boom chuck like this, he does a... Okay, so he's alternating the index finger, and then his thumb is doing this. Okay, so putting those two parts together sounds like this. Okay, measure 18 is just a C7 chord. We're going boom, bop, bop, bop. Okay, not alternating the bass that time. Okay, one more time on measure 17. This is what we call the jump part. This is a bass line type thing. The whole thing one more time, starting again on measure 16. Okay, and then you repeat the top of the song. Okay, all right. So follow those tips. I think that those will really help you out if you're struggling with it. Now, this is a tough song, so be patient and be kind to yourself for this one. So now we're going to do a slow playthrough with the metronome, and we're going to set that metronome up at 110 again. And I'm just going to play it through once and end it, so I'm not going to do the repeat. So I think it'll be easier for you guys to follow along. 1, 2. Right. So make sure to kind of, if you're struggling with this one, this is really hard. Be kind to yourself on this one. Be very patient as well, too. My main tips is to go through and make sure that you can kind of separate those parts out. You understand where the boom chuck is and where the melody notes are. And second, play it slow with the metronome. You can slow it down even slower than what I have here, which that was at 110. Make sure to go back and watch that whole video to make sure you're getting those tips on how to hold your left hand and what parts you can leave out if you're having trouble with it, okay? So have fun with this one, and that's it for this one, and I'll see you on the next one.